Where you find me is 10 p.m. the night before my first day at Notion. And this is the story of how we got here. And this story, it's not about software per se. I mean, maybe it's a bit about software, but more so it's about something else. And that's going to be a thread that I'm going to tie back a bit later. But first, I want to take you back to Berlin. In 2020, I moved to Berlin for a new role at a startup. And as an American, I didn't know anyone in the city. And it was a really lonely time for me. It was in this time that I came across a YouTube channel of a guy named August Bradley, who largely helps people design their lives, to reflect, and to set concrete goals, all using Notion. And in this lockdown time where I was largely isolated and sort of doing my own thing, I found it really grounding and helpful to be able to vision this part of my life in a larger story. And Notion was sort of the canvas where all of this, this visioning was happening. I did have another job, right? So I was working all the time, and but I still made time sort of on the weekends and nights and mornings, etc., to make some videos on a new YouTube channel that I had, some Notion tutorials and other types of things. All right, time to roll up the sleeves. Today we're talking about Notion. I had videos about my Notion setup, and I also made this one where I was reflecting or analyzing team member interviews from the marketing team at Notion at the time, which is kind of funny looking back on now. I would go to the Notion community meetups in Berlin, and that's where I met a guy named Matthias Frank, who used to host these super small but very fun meetups of like-minded people who also really like Notion. And that's where I got, wait, I'll show you, this mug. Anyways, in 2023, I moved to San Francisco, and what was so cool about that is that this Notion world that was very much a snow globe that I imagined from where I was in Berlin, I'd gotten into that world, right? And all these events that Notion was having at their headquarters, now I could go to. I went to the Notion Mail launch party. I went to another community event where these Notion influencers were talking. And I also went to Make with Notion, the conference, where I saw Thomas Frank. And that's where I got this hat and this hat and this tote bag and this tote bag. Anyway, so it was around this time that Danny, who was the CEO of my prior employer, Jam, slacked me one day and she said, "Hey, have you ever seen the Webflow Academy?" And if you've ever seen these videos, they're amazing and they're so well crafted. They're just like truly best in class. They're funny, they're helpful, they're tactically accurate, like they're just amazing. And when I saw the person, the speaker in them, this guy named McGuire Brennan, doing the videos, I was just super inspired by him as a person. I was just imagining how he has this role where he's in this company and millions of people use Webflow and want to learn Webflow, and he loves to learn Webflow and he loves to teach Webflow. And so suddenly that's his job, just making the best, educational content about Webflow for Webflow. Like what a cool job that is. And that's when I developed my master plan, which I'm going to show you. And what I'm going to show you, it's actually a journal entry. I take these like private video journal entries every week. And so this is I don't usually show them, but this is going to be like a little clip from one of these journal entries a few months ago. So I'll play that right now. And I think really what the vision is, what the master plan is, that I might build up multiple accounts for tools that I love. Really, like what I think this is like, how can I learn about topics that are interesting to me and then share what I learn? So how can I give myself little experiments, go and execute on them, and then share back what I found in a way that would resonate with a younger version of myself? So I started an Instagram account that was called Prof Notion, with the idea that it would, might be a side hustle. And I was seeing all the Notion content that's out there, the people I like to follow, like Hey Islo, and these people that have created these awesome businesses sort of around the tools they love. And I thought, why can't I do the same with my nights and weekends as well? So sort of continuing this thread of this interest for me that started like back in 2020. But then one day I got a message from the Notion team that said, "Hey, we're opening this role that's called an instructional designer, and we were wondering if you were interested in applying." And it's going to be, someone who's teaching people how to use Notion as a part of the customer education team. So I just read my email and I just opened it up, and so Notion is going to be giving me an offer. You can never really know how these things happen, but some things that I think made this more likely of happening. First, I think doing work that you want to do for free without expectation of anything in return is a great way for you to validate whether you actually like this thing that you've made up in your mind as a dream for the thing you want to do. And it also shows this sort of genuine interest to whatever potential employer is also doing that kind of work as their primary work, right? A second thing here, you may live in a city where there's not, not a big tech culture, or you may live in a place where there's it doesn't feel like there are people that sort of are into the same tools that you are, or like into the same, niche things. In my case, it was the Notion community. And the thing is that there are these people, and if you look for it, and if you look for these meetups, and you show up to these meetups, I think my story or my experience here, it showed me that you will find people that have this similar interest to you. And for me, finding those people in Berlin was like a big sort of unlock for me, or a big a motivating thing for me in my journey. And a third thing here that comes to mind is that having a professional role model, or not, you don't even need to know them, but someone that you look at their LinkedIn and you think, wow, okay, this is what I want. This is like concretely like a vision of my future that can be motivating for me and can help me think about my role and the types of responsibility that I want to take on and how I want to progress in my career. That can be a really powerful force for anyone early in their career to just like, let's explore some of these possibilities. Let's go on LinkedIn. Let's go to these companies that you really like. And then let's see like what's out there, right? Because people have these jobs. And I think like making it more concrete by finding some of these people, even if you don't know them, is like a really, can be a really powerful force in making serendipity more likely. So I said that this wasn't about software. Of course, it's like a little bit about software, but I said that it wasn't about software. So what was this about? For me, this is about seeing new possibilities for yourself and the people that have helped me see that for myself. It's about August Bradley at the very start of this, helping me like concretely and actionably and in a motivating way, be able to see, how this Berlin chapter was going to tie into something that I was really invested in and was important for me. It was about Matthias being in a city that's 5,000 miles away, organizing Notion meetups for like a handful of people in like a small like Berlin bar. Notion was a core part of that story for me. And that's part of the reason why I'm so excited about this role and what I hope to do with it in a broader sense. I will give what I can to this role to try to help people in the same way that those teachers helped me. And I'm just super fired up about that. So I can tell you, we have big things coming. And when they are here, you will be the first to know about them. And I couldn't be more grateful for this opportunity. So I want to thank you for watching. I'm grateful for the team who gave me the job, and tomorrow's day one. So let's get after it.